think what we have to understand here is that, yes, this movement is taking off and there is extraordinary momentum. But as you just mentioned, this is not an isolated incident, the murder of George Floyd. We're talking about something that's rooted in decades of frustration in the US. We are talking about, of course, racist policing, discrimination, stereotyping, the exclusion of Black people from major avenues of wealth creation. But frankly, according to observers, what may have broken the camel's back this time around is the man at the helm himself, Donald Trump. From the outset, the US president has championed the use of violence in law enforcement. And so since he came into power, there have been dozens of cases where defendants have cited him or his rhetoric to explain their threatening or violent behavior. And frankly, timing here is very key. This has come at a time of the tremendous mishandling of the coronavirus crisis, of course, which has left over 100,000 Americans dead, 40 million out of work. And in fact, a hefty burden of the pandemic has fallen disproportionately on Black people in the United States. More than half of Black adults in America are currently unemployed. African Americans are dying at a much higher rate than their white counterparts. So this comes at a time of simmering anger, frustration, and fear in the United States. Add to this the fact that Donald Trump seems rather incapable of identifying with Black victims of police violence. In fact, he hasn't, and we hear this time and time again, actually provided a real statement when it comes to the killing of George Floyd or racism in the United States. All we've seen from him are several tweets, of course. And so what these people, the protesters, the Black people, the minorities, even the white people that are finally speaking out, what they need more than ever is a leader at the helm. But Trump hasn't even gone as far as providing a specific policy to reform police and to address police brutality. And so one of the reasons for this is because many of his advisors don't actually believe that systemic racism is a problem in law enforcement in the US. Of course, according to polls, a majority of Americans disagree with that. And in fact, polling has shown very strong support for the protests that are taking place even in the 50 states across the United States. Some of those by white respondents. This is unprecedented.